Chapter 15. The Battle at the Giant's Choir. The Equinox. Last day of Edrin, 819. 30 days until Sown. I could have spent days walking aimlessly on these plains, searching for the Giant's Choir, but I calmed my mind and sensed the subtle pull of the holy site. By midday, I stand in awe of Men Murkov Key, as it's called in the Old Language. The massive standing stones form a great circle topped by equally heavy lintels. It could only have been constructed by giants. The lore tells us on the equinoxes and solstices the giants would stand between the stones and sing as one powerful voice to their gods. No one alive today can name those gods. They left this land with the giants to their new home, across the endless sea. The main path to the stone circle is lined by earthen banks and shallow ditches. The air has a charge to it, and the very ground pulses with energy. The animals must sense the thrumming power of the holy site, for the hills are empty of creatures great and small. Why haven't the plains druids assembled here on this most auspicious of days? I scale the central trilithon and search the sky in vain for any druids in avian form. How could they pass on a day with a full moon and the equinox? A group of horsemen approach from the grassy path leading to the circle. A man in black is astride a great grey horse, leading a group of mounted warriors. I've seen that horse before. A chill runs down my spine. The obsidian mage is here. Next to him is the female druid. My heart begins to race. Scanning the horizon, I see only a few tendrils of black smoke off to the west. I am all that stands between the dark mage and the giant's choir. I don't know what the mage's plans are, but I dare not allow him to enter this ring. But how can I stop him? The evening sky grows darker as Anya begins her rise in the east. The druidess rides forward and points me out to the mage. They stop their advance. There is only a shallow dip between us. They could cover the ground and reach the stone circle in only a score of heartbeats at full gallop. Time stretches by, as neither they nor I move. The man in black nods his head toward me, and the warriors take out their bows in unison. The group advances. First their steeds, then their bodies disappear from view as they near the bottom of the depression. I scan the sky nervously once again, hoping in vain for aid. Even Belenos is retreating from the sky. I am all alone. Their heads reappear as they make the last climb. Anger and fear cause my whole body to tighten. The breeze alerts me to the cold sweat all over me. I know not if it is the retreating Belenos or the ascending Anya who quiets my mind. With perfect clarity, I know my purpose. They will not take this place while I still breathe. I raise my arms and start the rain chant, biting off each syllable with a cold fury. The wind picks up behind me and it whispers through the stones. The clouds heed my call, and they race to me from the southwest. "Continue, if you dare," I shout before resuming my chants. The warriors march on with a slow, methodical pace. Fat raindrops splatter on the stones around me. I take courage in every drop and compel the storm to intensify. The cold rain begins streaking down now, causing me to go numb. The intruders are barely visible at 50 paces as the rain falls in frigid sheets. The horses become nervous, but the men are able to control their mounts. The druidess dismounts, lays a calming hand on her horse, and walks forward a few strides. I can feel her counter-chanting, sapping the fury from the storm. I bark out the holy words over the thumping of the rain until my voice becomes ragged. The clouds collide, and I can feel the hair on my arms stand up. God's fire begins to flash from cloud to cloud. I know what my next command must be. At last, the power of the storm has been fully manifested. I point to the counter-chanter and scream, "Strike!" with what voice I still have. Thunder booms as the flash of light blinds us all. The horses trumpet their fear, and I can hear riders grunting as they hit the ground. The pounding of hooves recedes as the horses wisely run from my wrath. I blink away the lightning's afterimage from my eyes. The rain pours down, and when I at last can see the field before me, there is but one rider left on his horse. Still as a stone, his eyes are locked on to me. How dare anyone brave this onslaught? The wind picks up around me, pressing my soaked robe tight against my back and my legs. The front of my robe whips and snaps in the wind. The rain flies straight into the black rider's unflinching face. I urge the storm on until tiny hailstones start pelting the ground around the stone circle. Still, the man in black and his massive grey warhorse remain calm before my wrath. I choke out, "Strike!" with the last of my voice. The wrath of the gods descends with such ferocity that the ground itself is thrown up in all directions. The heavy clouds have obscured the remaining rays of Belenos. It is only with the storm's sporadic lightning that I can see the battlefield clearly. Tiny tendrils of smoke attempt to rise from the newly formed crater. I lower my arms and whisper prayers of thanks to whichever of the gods came out to aid me this night. The rain eases, settling into a soft, steady patter. The field before me is free of enemies. I leave my perch to survey the damage. The Druidess and her charred horse lay hopelessly broken in the grass. Her entire left side is barely recognizable. The pungent smell of burned meat nearly causes me to puke. I gently touch her right shoulder and say a prayer for her soul's safe travel. Several paces behind the Druid, I inspect the scorched grass around the hole. There are no remnants of either the mage or his mount. Peering at the hole, only the beginning of a muddy puddle is within. Strange. God's fire may burn, but it does not consume entirely. There is precious little I can do now, so I choose to attend my brethren. I check her possessions, making sure there is no iron upon her skin. Only heretics and traitors are given iron in death. The Druidess's saddlebag contains only one bit of cloth, rolled up tight. Grabbing the end of the cloth, I pull it upward and let it unroll. As the last of the cloth is exposed, a ghost orchid falls into my outstretched hand. I fall backward, laughing at the unlikeliest of objects. The rain mixes with my tears of joy. It's not until the rain has slowed to a misty drizzle that I collect myself. My arms feel ponderously heavy, but I can't give in to my exhaustion yet. I re-roll the flower and stuff it into my sack. Looking into her lifeless eyes, I feel shame at laughing next to a fallen druid. I straighten out her legs and set her hands upon her stomach as best I can. I respectfully search her person for more clues. "Back away from her now, or I will brain you," a voice rings out from behind me. Standing above me is a druid, staff raised, ready to strike. "I am merely searching for answers," I say. "Back away." I raise my hands and retreat several steps away from him. My own staff is still within the stone circle, not that it matters. I am too drained to defend myself. A red kite with a man-sized wingspan lands behind the belligerent druid. In an instant, the bird has morphed into his human form. "Hold, he's one of us," the man calls. "I saw him looting Sizel's body," the first answers, still ready to strike. 3 more red kites land and take their human forms. "We'll sort this out, I promise you," the second druid says. Clearly, he is the one in charge. "Now, give me your name," he says. I demand my legs to stop swaying, but they are not up to the task. I spread my arms out to secure my balance. "Forgive me, I'm a bit unsteady on my feet, it seems." The one in charge clamps his hand on my shoulder, steadying me. He stares intently into my eyes. "Ysella," he says, without moving his head. "Find Arthmael. We have need of his healing arts." "Ysella?" Before I can confirm that it is the Ysella from my memory, the man has his nose nearly touching mine. He lifts up my eyelids and studies my eyes from all angles. "Yes, you've severely overextended yourself." Blinking is all I can manage as a reply. "You were the one who called that storm, then?" He doesn't wait for me to answer. "You're lucky to be able to stand." "It was my lightning." I try to sound proud, but it comes out flat. My head starts to fall to the side, and I decide to follow it down. Before I know it, I'm lying on the ground again, next to the druidess I killed. A third man is kneeling next to me now. He's not belligerent like the first, or bossy like the second. "Not bossy, I murmur. "He's comforting." He looks at me with a kind face as he prepares some herbs for me to drink. Why is he so worried? He checks my eyes again and again. "Drink this," he says. I drink it all up and down my throat. I giggle at my own cleverness. The ground feels cool. This would be a good place for a nap. Funny Face slaps me on my cheek. "Drink this first," he says with some urgency. I sit up and grab the cup with both hands. Funny Face won't let go of the cup though. Why can't I hold the cup myself? "Hey," the bossy man claps to get my attention. "Can you tell me your name?" I taste peppermint and chamomile. Those are good for stomach ailments and to help one sleep. Why wouldn't you include stinging nettle for energy and the common bladder rag to augment the... "Hey, not yet. Tell me your name first." "His name is Grami," the girl druid says. "You know him?" "We met at the... during Lugnaza." I smile to myself. It is my friend, Ysella.